So it was announced yesterday that Hillary Clinton is now the proud winner of an Olympic gold medal for skating and a Lifetime Achievement Award for skating faster and smoother than anybody else ever in the history of skating. She has skated right through charges of corruption, obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence, lying under oath, and an assortment of other things. It's mind boggling to think that this actually happened. But then again, what were we thinking that we actually believed there would be some justice in this? Those of us for the past year or two who've been thinking that somewhere at the end of the line there would be criminal charges and Hillary Clinton would actually be held accountable for her actions, we've been deluding ourselves because look at the fucking country we live in. Look at the leaders who are running this shit show. There are two types of justice in this country. I know they've been saying on the media there's justice for the Clintons and justice for everybody else, but the real truth of the fact is there's justice for the elites in this country and there's justice for everybody else. And the elites are immune to everything. The Clintons and people in their category at their stature of life and power in this country, they don't get charged with shit like this. They don't get in trouble for things like this. They don't get held accountable for their actions because they're too powerful. The woman who stated no bank is too big to fail and no person too big to jail, of course, never thought that it would apply to her. She's not subject to things like that. This has been an absolute disgusting time in our country's history. I think it has been far worse than Watergate. For any of you who are old enough to remember it, something as innocuous and infantile as a couple of bungling burglars who broke into Democratic National Campaign headquarters to steal campaign secrets and got caught, and it led to the downfall of a president. Compare that to Hillary Clinton lying under oath, obstructing justice, tampering with evidence, attempting to destroy evidence. Thousands, possibly tens of thousands of people who are dead in the Middle East because of policies that were instituted by Hillary Clinton under the Obama administration. This has been the most lawless presidential administration in history. People thought that Bush was too powerful. Bush was insignificant compared to the amount of power that Obama has taken for himself and was able to do with the help of the likes of Hillary Clinton. Rest assured, if the FBI wanted to see your hard drive and they came to your house to retrieve it with a subpoena or a court order, and they found that you had formatted the drive before they arrived, you would go to fucking jail for that. You, me, and 99.9% of everybody else in this country would be charged with a crime and would go to fucking jail. But not Hillary Clinton. She wiped that server in a brazen attempt to delete evidence. She really thought that if she formatted the drive, it would be gone forever. And the FBI painstakingly had to take time to reconstruct what was on that drive to find all of these classified emails, which she lied under oath stating didn't exist. We found did exist. And they're not going to charge her with anything. It's mind-boggling. I mean, is it any coincidence? You know, James Comey's superior is Loretta Lynch, whose superior is Obama, who's endorsing Hillary Clinton, who undoubtedly will probably choose to keep Loretta Lynch as Attorney General if she wins the election. It's all been one great big shit show. This has been politics at its worst, American politics at its worst. This is backroom dealings, Bill Clinton meeting with Loretta Lynch on an airplane and having the audacity to tell us they talked about their grandchildren. How fucking stupid do they think we are? That's crazy. Bill Clinton, before he was president, was a governor, and before he was governor, he was a state attorney general, and he was a lawyer. He knows it was highly improper to do what he did. And Loretta Lynch is the highest attorney in the country. She knows it was improper to have that kind of a meeting at that juncture. But they did it anyway, and you know what? There's going to be absolutely no repercussions to either one of them for that. As usual, the elites will skate, and there will be no punishment for bad behavior. But keep in mind, if you or I had done any of these kinds of things, we'd be brought up on charges. It is just, it just saddens me. I just can't believe that my country has come to this. I can't believe that this is where we are right now. A war hero like David Petraeus, it ruined his career for just a tiny portion of what Hillary Clinton has done. And Petraeus didn't try to delete any emails as far as I know. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think he did. The former CIA director, John Deutsch, he had to plead guilty for running a server in his house and keeping classified information on it. He was essentially pardoned by Clinton on his way out the door, but it did end his career, and he did have to plead guilty on that. This is the same thing that Hillary did, but, she's immune to it. And the fact that she can become our president is scary. What's really scary, most of all, is not that she's a disgusting criminal pig of a human being, but that there are so many people in this country that will give her a free pass for all the shit that she's done. There are people that will vote for her no matter what she's done because they're offended by Donald Trump. You're offended that he said something that was offensive to Mexicans or to Muslims, whatever. You honestly think that brash behavior overpowers criminality? All the shit that happened with Trump University, it's baby shit. It's nursery school bickering compared to what just transpired under Hillary Clinton's name. She's not qualified to be president. She shouldn't ever hold public office ever again. If any Republican had these kinds of charges, these kinds of investigations swirling around them in the midst of a presidential campaign, they wouldn't have made it this far. The media wouldn't have allowed it. Liberal Democrats wouldn't have allowed it. And even Republicans would have said, hey, buddy, you really got to step off. This is not the time to run for president when you're being investigated by the feds. But of course, Hillary ignored that, and all of her sycophant supporters ignore that as well. They're enablers. They're just the most uninformed people that I could possibly imagine. I don't know if it's that they're uninformed or that you're just plain fucking stupid. Are you all so entranced and mesmerized at the thought of having the first woman president? Is it that important that you're going to elect a criminal instead of waiting for somebody to come along who's actually qualified for the job? Donald Trump is running for president not because he needs it, not because this is a natural progression in his life and in his career. He's been a builder his entire career. This is a man who's been a businessman, a builder, an innovator, an employer, somebody who stimulated the economy, created jobs. And he's doing this because he has a fire in his belly and he feels that he has something to offer to the country, that he can help correct the ship that has been detoured into dangerous waters and to get us right-sided again. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, is a career politician. She's doing this because this is the pinnacle of a career in politics. She thinks that she's entitled. This is something that she feels is coming to her. Anybody who steps in her way is obviously a misogynist and a woman hater or whatever it is that they're going to throw at us. She's wrong for this job. She's not the person who should be president. Hell, Bernie would have made a better president than Hillary, and he's a fucking communist. and I would have been less scared with him in charge than her. This is something that cannot be allowed to happen. It can't be under any circumstances. The American people have to wake up and see her for what she is. The Clintons are the closest thing to the political mafia than we've ever seen in this country, and their politics are political cancer to us. We can't invite that back into the White House. We can't put them back in a position of power. That's just unbelievable. Why would anybody agree to that? Donald Trump ran a presidential primary that was unprecedented. Nobody thought he had a chance, and he tackled 17. There were 17 candidates. He tackled 16 of them, and he did so spending a fraction of the money that they spent because he had a message that resonated with the registered Republicans. He's got to bring that message to the rest of the country. But in doing so, he has to run the presidential campaign in a different way than has ever been run in presidential history. This has to become, if the FBI is not going to indict Hillary, then Donald Trump has to indict her. And I mean indict her in front of the American people. He can't do so in a court of law, obviously, but he needs to make this entire political campaign, half of it needs to be about Donald Trump's accomplishments, his abilities, what he brings to the table, and what he can do for us as a nation to better our country and better our condition. And the other half of it has to be a sweeping indictment against Hillary Clinton. Every single speech he gives, every single campaign stop that he makes, in every move that he makes going forward from now until November, in the debates, in interviews on television, he has got to deconstruct Hillary Clinton's persona and reconstruct her so that people can see who she is, what she is, and why she should never be our president.